Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Tyler. Welcome to the channel Draw and Talk, where we talk about indie comics, making comics. And today we're going to be talking about Batman, and specifically Ben Affleck's Batman, and the news that came out yesterday from an interview. He was promoting his new movie. I think it's Triple Nine, something like that. It's coming out on Netflix. And someone asked him about why he was dropping off of being Batman, and they were asking about the script and the story, and a quote that he said, which this is really what the video is about, me emphasizing what this is about. He says that part of the problem was the script and that he couldn't find a story to tell. So I'm going to quote this. It says, "That was part of the problem. We worked on the script. I was trying to figure out how to crack it, and I was never happy enough with it where I thought it was worth going out and making it." And then he continues. And for me, I think that was an excuse. I think that's an excuse. I think there was a couple things that came into play when Ben Affleck's Batman movie was going through all this turmoil. The first thing, I think, was Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers are just idiots when it comes to making their DC movies. I mean, look how awful Justice League was. That was terrible. I'm someone who really enjoyed Man of Steel. I liked Suicide Squad. I loved Wonder Woman. I even liked Batman vs. Superman. I think Ben Affleck gave one of the best Bruce Wayne Batman performances in a really long time. I like Christian Bale as a Batman, but you cannot argue with me that warehouse scene was better than any Christian Bale fight in any of those Nolan movies. So yeah, Ben Affleck for me was a perfect Batman. And yet Warner Brothers, because of their mistakes that they made in Justice League, trying to rush this movie out, making the changes, kicking Snyder off the movie, I think that because of the low sales, they've been trying to, for the last, I don't know, a couple months, year, to figure out how to repair this damage. And I think one of them was getting rid of Ben Affleck, because there was so much polarization on whether or not people liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm one of those people who did. Some people didn't, and a lot of people didn't like the take that he had. I thought it was perfect. So I think that was one of the things that made Ben Affleck leave as Batman, was Warner Brothers. A second thing I think as well was his freaking personal life. Guys, if you know Ben Affleck, if you ever see him on the news or whatnot, celebrity news, his life's like a mess. He's got divorced from his wife because I think he cheated on her. He's constantly in rehab for alcoholism. I know he gambles a lot. I mean, this dude does not look good. His life is sometimes in his life's a mess, basically. And so I think that was another big reason was, he's trying to deal with all this personal stuff. His Batman movie just keeps getting pushed back and back. I mean, they're like 2 years ago, they're like, yeah, I'll make my Batman movie in 2020. I'm like, bruh, that's so freaking far. So I think that's a big thing. And then finally, I think the biggest one kind of goes along then with what he said. He couldn't find a script that he was happy about. This kind of hurts my feelings as a huge Batman comic book fan, because there are so many stories that he could have told that have been done in comics, and I don't think that he took the time, and I don't know this, I'm just speculating, but I don't think they took the time to really go into the lore and to spend time making a movie that fans would like. I mean, there are so many different stories, comic book arcs on Batman that they could have used that would have made great films. So that's something that if I was one-on-one with Ben Affleck right now, I'd ask him, be like, hey, what story arcs did you guys check out when writing this script? And if he can't name any of them, I'd be like, okay, get out of here. But think about this. We could have had a Batman Hush movie. I know they're doing it in animated form, but after The Killing Joke, horror movie, that was awful. Who knows what that'll be, but they could have done a Batman Hush movie. They could have done Batman The Court of Owls. That would have been a huge movie. And I know Matt Reeves is wanting to do more detective stuff in his. Well, that's a perfect detective story, where Bruce Wayne is trying to figure out who the Court of Owls are and how they've infiltrated Gotham City for like hundreds of years. That would have been an awesome detective story. What are some other they could have done? You know, if they wanted to bring Joker, I feel bad for Jared Leto's Joker. He's out of the picture now too, which, you know, maybe we'll do another video on that. But they could, you know, Tom King is currently doing a really good Batman run. They could have taken stuff from that. They could have taken stuff from Grant Morrison's Batman run, introduced Damian Wayne Robin, you know, and they could have led it all the way up to Final Crisis, where Darkseid kills Ben Affleck Batman, and then they could have gone a new Batman as Dick Grayson and then kept the story as that. But they didn't. There's just so much comic book lore that I really feel like they missed out on, that they just didn't do well. And so when Ben Affleck says stuff that, like, saying, you know, that he couldn't figure out how to crack it, the beauty about comic books and comic book movies is that you don't really have to necessarily crack it. The comic book writers and artists, they kind of already did that work for you. Look at the MCU. The Whedon Joss Whedon or the Russo brothers, they didn't come up with Age of Ultron. They didn't come up with the Civil War. They came up with their own version of it slightly. They didn't come up with, you know, the Avengers Assemble. They didn't come up with Loki. They didn't come up with Infinity War. They didn't come up with the Infinity Stones. They didn't come up with any of this stuff. You know what they did? Is they took from the comics what worked and they implemented it in movies, and then they figured out how to adapt this comic book story into a movie, and they did it successfully. And so that, for me, I feel like comic book movies are so easy. When they say I couldn't find a script that cracked it, you don't have to write a script. These comic book, you go to Scott Snyder and be like, hey, can I take your Court of Owls script where it says panel 1? It's like this. It's basically, and then look at the comic book as basically your concept art, your thumbnailing, because that's basically all that comic books is. It's the middle step before you make a full feature length movie. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed out that they're not doing that. Ben Affleck's not the Batman anymore. I'm kind of bummed out that he was never given a real shot as Batman, because Warner Brothers, his personal life, him just not being able to find a script. I just really don't think that they took in the time and care to really get this, to flesh out a really good Batman story, and that really frustrates me. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. Let me know what you think about this. What do you guys think about Ben Affleck leaving as Batman? I'd love to know in the comments. And we'll see you guys later tonight for a live stream interview, creator interview. So yeah, peace out. Thanks so much.